What's going on, everyone? It's Average THC Guy, and today we're going to be telling the story of the craziest party I've ever been to. So, before we get into anything, that's not to incriminate anyone else or myself. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is not an admission of guilt. Everything said in this video is purely hypothetical. So, the party, so it starts on Friday. And that Friday, I had picked up 14 G's of wax from my friend Marshall. And I needed to pay him for that, and I was going to pay him by flipping it. So I needed to find a place to get some business going. So I decided to see what the party scene was looking like. So I texted my friend, we'll call him Gary. Texted my friend Gary and said, "Hey man, is there any parties going on?" I had a party at my house and he had come to it and then we became friends there and then, things kind of went from there. So I texted him and he's like, "Any parties going on?" Because we couldn't have any at my house or anywhere else that are related to me just because of my dad. But so he sends me a flyer and this flyer kind of gets my gears turning because it says no BS, or like leave your BS at home, no fighting or you'll have to leave. And I'm just like, did a fight break out last time or something? And he said, yeah, it did. And so, I mean, the reason I didn't want to have one reason, my dad and my brother thought it was a bad idea to have a party at any properties connected to me was that if somebody got into a fight or something, it would essentially turn our property into a crime scene. And so we had And so I was kind of, I wasn't worried about getting into a fight because, I'm not a very confrontational person. So, but I was worried about being caught in the middle of one and, things getting dangerous. Spoiler alert, they did. So that night, and keep in mind, this is like a barn in the middle of nowhere, 45-minute drive from my house. And so I go anyway because I need that paper. And so I go there and I make it to the party, and right as I'm pulling in, there's a sheriff parked just down the road. And this kind of has got me spooked because not only that, but earlier we had bought like an ounce of shrooms like a couple weeks earlier, and I had been going to parties as part of trying to, move that. And so I go to this party and word's already gotten out in the party scene about, who I am and what I do. So, I could hook people up with what they needed. And so I'm already getting that business going and uh I got people trying to cash at me and stuff. And the party is just kind of it's just kind of a vibe for the first little while. People are showing up, partying, music's going, just talking, drinking, smoking, just having a good time. And then as around night falls and more people file in, and keep in mind I was parked in such a way where cars who were coming in after me were essentially blocking me in, so I couldn't go anywhere if I wanted to. So I as I was doing all these things with these people, as the night went on, more and more people that I knew started showing up. Gary started showing up. My friend David showed up. And I started meeting more and more people through what I did, and you know, I was like giving out dabs. I felt pretty generous, and I felt like that was sort of like giving out free samples at the grocery store, and uh, so I had gone to so as the party went on, uh, I was outside the barn at one time, and I And during this, I had noticed a whole big crowd of people gathering around this one truck, and I thought, hey, somebody who a lot of people really like must have shown up, and they're sort of crowding. They're like the Beatles or something like that. And so, but no, apparently someone showed up who some people had beef with, and then we're gonna call them Stan. We'll call him Stan. Stan was the hated one. And so after this, some squabbling breaks out, some sort of, punches are thrown, and then a knife is drawn. And that's when things got scary. I went straight to my car because I didn't want to be involved in any of that. And, I hid in my car until it all died down, and it did. There were, people there who were, designated to break up fights if anything happened. They were sort of like the muscle. And so after all that, then these people started walking around looking for Stan to try to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to shoot him. I just want to talk to him. Yeah, and so then I go back into the barn and I decide to just, I'm kind of stoned at this point, so I just kind of want to veg out on the couch. And there is a little like leather couch inside the barn for some fucking reason, I don't know. And so I go in and sit in there, and then I hear from another room that a fight is about to break out again, uh, probably between the same people, and then a guy walks out, and then he's like crying and shit. He punches the wall and then yells the F word. And so I'm kind of just confused at this point. So I go outside. I'm trying to talk with some of my new friends, just try to, you know, the vibe was kind of brought down by, the almost knife fight that broke out. So and so I decided to just walk around the barn, maybe talk to a few girls or something like that, maybe talk to a few friends. And then and then it happened. Um, Blue lights started to flash outside, and then the attention of the state troopers, sheriff, EMS, and the fire department were all brought to this little party, and I thought I was busted. So, and so everybody is, trying to think of a way out. So, you know how barns have two sides, one door at each side? The cops came up at one side, and on the other side, there was this gate that led to this big field. You couldn't see a thing out there. And so a lot of people started filing over the gate. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you motherfuckers worried about? Underage drinking? That's fucking child's play. And so then the cops actually come in the building and uh two sheriffs, and they are doing the whole what they wanted was some cars were parked in the road and they needed to clean it up. So that was the main problem. And, the sheriff was like, there's not going to be any drinking and driving or anything like that. And the owner said no. And prob the sheriff was standing no closer to me. I was pretty big. No closer to me than probably the closet that I'm recording in, and is as big. God, I can't freaking talk today. And so after that, so I was as the cops were showing up, I was genuinely considering hopping the fence and running into the field. Like I could not get busted. I could not make it in jail. And I had been doing everything everyone else was doing, and it was also worse. So yeah, I decide to, because I've been scared that the sheriff has been watching me all night and has caught on, but no, it was just a parking dispute, and Then after that, I went to sit on the couch, collect my bearings, because I was having a fucking panic attack. Because I had a nectar collector that I was using for the wax, and people said it looked like a crack pipe, and they said that a cop wouldn't believe me if I said it was for weed, which probably not, but still. And so I was worried that, the police would think I brought like crack to this party and, you know, fucking arrest me. But no. And then literally everywhere I went, there were, there was a fight going on. I sat on the couch, two girls started fighting for some reason, almost fist fight broke out. I went outside and I was pretty tired at this point. It was like 1 in the morning, 1:30. And so I just decided to go sleep in my car. And after all the craziness had gone on, there was this guy I made friends with. We'll call him Andrew. And so Andrew, I told him that, I never had sex, and he said, and he's trying to go around and get somebody to have sex with me, and I'm just like, this is fucking uncomfortable as hell. I'm going to my car. And so I actually, you know, I had a friend, and his name, we'll call him Terrence, or not Terrence, Tyler. Call him Tyler. And so Tyler was warning me all night, put that shit in your trunk. Don't keep that in the back seat. And, because I had kept in the back seat, so I kept in the trunk after that. And I slept in my car for about 2 hours. And while I was going to sleep, a fight was almost going to break out right outside my car. And so then I got a knock at my window. And it was this one blonde girl. We'll name her Allison. And so Allison was like, "Hey, we were at the next last party. You let me smoke your moon rocks." And I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she said, "I really like your shirt. That's a good color on you." And I was like, "Thanks." And she saw my phone case, and my phone case, obviously, if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm a big fan of Suits. It had like What Would Harvey Specter Do, and she really liked that because she was also a fan of the show. And then after that, I had fallen asleep in my car for about 2 hours. It was about 3:30 when I woke up, and the party had pretty much emptied out. I could leave that second if I wanted to. But the thing was, there was a sheriff's, and I was doing the most fucking fifth grade shit. There were two sheriffs outside my car, like maybe 10 feet away, and I was like pretending to be asleep so they just think that I was staying here and not like driving or anything. But after that, there was just one sheriff standing near my car, and then I just kind of went for it because I figured if, as people were saying, there were cars posted on either way of the road, so I would have to come in contact with a cop either way. And but I just went for it because I figured if there were a lot of cars, the cops might feel rushed and maybe not give me as much time of day. Because my eyes were red, but they were red because I was on 2 hours of sleep and not because I was still high at all. Because I have a really high tolerance. So I didn't want them to get the wrong idea and, extrapolate that to searching my car. So I ended up taking the long way home, and there were actually no cops posted. So, I drove about an hour at 4:30 in the morning, and I went into a 24-hour gas station. I went to the bathroom, freshened up, uh, got myself an Arizona tea, and then I went home and I decided to. I had had enough craziness for one night, so I decided to rip dabs and watch the sunrise. Because by the time I was home and in bed, it was probably like 5. So I just decided, hey, the sun will be up soon. I'll leave my window shades open so I can watch the sunrise, and I did. And then I woke up, and that's the end of that. So that's the story of the craziest party I've ever been to. Let me know your crazy party stories in the comments below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.